All right. Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmate friends. It is me, Stormy Grace, and I am here to bring you your weekly horoscope for the week of October 2nd, where this is a week where we've got some ease in the beginning of the week, but then we've also got some energy of big blowout at the end of the week. So we want to be paying attention to that. And also we've got a nice, significant chunk of time, several weeks in the middle, where we have access to some personal freedom that we haven't had in months. So this week, I think, is not like the biggest week in astrology or anything like that, but we've definitely got some things to work with. Okay. Now, before we get going, the digital transit calendars are for sale for 2024 from our friends at Wise Skies Collective. So click in the description box down below, use my code, and get a little discount on your transit calendar. And if you have not used the transit calendar or you don't know what it is, it's freaking awesome. So you're able to see the astrological aspects that are happening every day of the year. It's absolutely fantastic. And then there's a little breakdown of what that aspect means. The thing that I love the most about it is because we study the void of course moon periods on this channel. In the transit calendar, because you can download it and it comes right to your phone or to your desktop, whatever you're working with, it'll come to my phone and say, hey, the moon's going void of course in 30 minutes. And so for me, it is an absolute accountability tool to know that, okay, in 30 minutes, I'm not going to be pushing, moving forward. In 30 minutes, even if I am working on a project, I'm going to move at a different speed. I'm going to allow things to slow. I'm going to realize I don't have enough oomph to probably get some things done. I'm not going to likely be trying to contact people because we're all under a void of course moon. So it really can be a tool that is helpful to help you navigate even your own personal day and space using the astrological energies that are available. So it's really cool. I'll make sure it's below this video when the live uploads, and it may be there now as well. Now, I've also got we're in the last couple of weeks of having my astrological packages for sale, and they are half off right now. Now, if you are changing, if you are going through a transformation, if you need more confirmation about what your intuition is starting to pull up for you, and you could use support in that, that's where the packages are really very useful, because you get 2 60s and 2 30s for us to walk through. You have support. We've got the astrological timing to help us, right? There is a lot of ease and simplicity that comes from working with more consistent mentorship. When we pair together, we can go further faster. It's really one of my favorite things. Now, someone did ask and brought to my attention that not everybody needs the package. And I think that that's absolutely right. So for the next couple of weeks, my 30-minute sessions are also on sale, and the link will be in the description box for that as well. If you just need a 1 or 2 off, session, if that's for you, whatever it is, I've got it. It's in the description box down below. Okay. All right. So into this week. Now, as we're coming into this week on Monday, one of the things that I absolutely love and I want to calibrate our energy to coming in on Monday is the fact that the moon is traveling through the energy of Taurus. So it's fairly nice. It's a grounded energy. It's steady. Okay. And the thing that is really important, I think, about the moon being so steady and us grounding into the persistent endurance that Taurus has, is that the moon being in Taurus is like really ground into your own intuition on Monday, because what we've also got going is that Mercury, our planet of communication, our planet of disseminating and assimilating the information that is coming to us, is going to be in opposition to Neptune. Okay, and Neptune is our planet of ideas, ideals. It moves between the worlds. So for me, when I lay these out, it's really the difference between my logical, rational mind and the place of fantasy. And we need them both, because my example of Neptune is always, before a chair was a chair, it was just an idea. And now we've got chairs all over the place, right? So we have to have the space of the fantasy. So it's not that this is good and this is bad, although an opposition can certainly make it seem that way, right? Now, on Monday, as these two are opposing each other, they're going in opposite directions. Okay. And what we're looking for in an opposition is to find the sweet spot in the middle. Where are both sides kind of right? And we can make that work. So, one of the best things that you can do with this opposing aspect is create, play, dance, move to the arts, move to things that when they're moving in between the worlds like that, when the rational mind and the fantasy are not supposed to be working together, they find this beautiful way to work together in the middle, and you create something really beautiful. That's a great use of this particular energy, because what can happen is that because Neptune can just be so nebulous, that the communications that are happening on Monday can get really confusing when it involves another person. So first of all, we have to think of things of like just confusion. It's literally like this face on Monday. If somebody is talking to you and you're like, you're making this face, and it's almost like, okay, if I lean my ear in, if my ear sees your eyes, am I going to be able to understand this better? It's really that squinty kind of face that starts happening because you're just not clear on the information that's coming. But also, it is a space of deception. Right? Oh no, it looks good. It sounds good. Somebody's presenting me something. They're offering me something. Oh my gosh. And it's still the old adage, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. And so you have to be very, very mindful of that when we're dealing with this Mercury-Neptune opposition. Okay. So kind of keep that in mind so that you can stay out of that place of deceiving someone. You're saying, oh yeah, I'll absolutely do that for you, and you have no real ability to deliver that particular thing. So just watch it a bit on Monday, but instead move into a more creative place where it's like, in art or in dance, sometimes where there would have been a miscommunication or a misrepresentation, it actually turns into something that's like art. And if you're trusting your intuition, you're staying grounded in your own beauty, this is someplace that we can actually make that work, I think, very, very well. Okay. Now, on Tuesday, we move out of the position of having this moon in Taurus that's been grounded. It's having its snacks. It's got its creature comfort, all of these things. It's a lot more reserved. And we move into the energy of Gemini with the moon. So now the moon, given your social energies coming up, it's like I may even crave stimulation. I may crave conversation. I may crave knowledge, and I want to go out and have this more feisty-esque experience that is available. And it is a great day. It is a great time to do it, because not only do you have that going, but then the moon that's in Gemini is also in a wonderful connection with the sun that is in Libra. They're in a sextile. We get this they're not in a sextile, my goodness. They're in a trine. They're in an air trine to one another. So they're having this wonderful conversation. And it's like, ooh, wait, I want to talk. I want to communicate things. This feels good. And you're motivated. Now, a really great way to use this energy is to know that Tuesday is a phenomenal day for business, communication, speeches, presentations, filing that paperwork, going for that job, whatever it is, there's just a really nice flow of energy that is available to you there. Now, to make it a little bit more delicious, we've got Mercury in a trine to Pluto in Capricorn. And now Pluto is still retrograde until we get to the 10th. So we're almost there, but it's still something that you've been trying to move forward. And maybe it's very different than the structure you have been working in before. And now you got an opportunity to do some research, right? You're on a mission. I need the information. I got to be researching something. I'm exploring something, or I'm promoting myself. I'm promoting a product. I'm promoting my book. I'm whatever. I'm sharing a powerful message with people around me, or I'm having a revelation of something around me that allows me to build and be informed and build in a very informed way down the road. So it's a lovely day of flow. Now, that said too, Mercury trine Pluto, sometimes it can be like, I found out what I already knew. You know what I'm saying? Like your intuition had been telling you something, sharing something with you, and you're like, I just don't have the proof of this yet, but I'm only finding out and confirming what I already knew. So whatever you need to be doing on Tuesday, just know it is a good day to use it to get done what you need to get done. It's absolutely lovely. On Wednesday, the moon's going to continue through this Gemini vibration, and that's cool. Okay, so we've still got a social element that is up on the table. But here's a little bit of challenge as we're in the beginning of the day, and it's something to consider how you're going to work with it. Okay. So first of all, we've got the Mars. It's the Mars now. I'm sure Mars loves that. We've got Mars in a conjunction with the South Node, which means it's also going to be opposing the North Node. Okay. So as we've got this particular aspect happening, Mars is the action energy, what I'm doing, what I desire, the direction that I'm pointing myself, and it's here and it's vibrating with this South Node energy. So the action that is available here is to let go, shed it, to let something go, surrender something because you're realizing that this is not balanced. This in some way, it's not equal, in some way like that. Or it can also be a time where it's like, I'm letting this go because I'm making an adjustment, right? I really thought that this was the path I needed to take, or this is how I needed to do this. It's how I needed to communicate with my partner. And it turns out that that's not actually working to move something forward. So at the South Node, what you can know is whatever you're letting go, you've been used to doing something in this way, and it's your thinking probably. You've been thinking it has to be this way for some time, but your thinking is leading you to take actions that are not actually quite useful. Right? So sometimes the way that this comes about too is that Mars creates the inflammation, okay? And then we take the action based on thinking that we have, and it impacts a relationship that we're dealing with. So where do we see this opposition with the North Node become useful in this particular respect? So the way that you can use this is to know that this is what I've always thought. This is how I've always done it. This is what it's been. Okay, this is what it is. Okay, so now you're being asked to move towards that Aries North Node behavior. Okay, it can't just be all about the we. I can't always fix things for us. I can't always make everybody happy. How can I handle myself, right? How can I handle myself that when I do that, it actually brings me that balance between the me and the we. So, but it is going to be through action. I have to take action that will restore balance. That is this aspect full out. So sometimes the action that can be taken here is very moon in Gemini. I got to talk it out. I got to talk with somebody. I got to run my thinking or my plan by someone. And maybe it's in the relationship. I was really thinking about telling my partner this, and your mom looks at you and she's like, don't say that. Or say it, but make sure you deliver it this way. Or you're thinking, oh, I was going to go to school and I want to take this path, and you say it out loud, you get some mentorship, some coaching, something like that. And they're like, okay, that's kind of okay. But what about this over here? So whatever it is, it instigates you into you take action that restores the balance. Oh, I think it's a really good aspect if you can use it well. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. Later in the day, we're going to see Mercury get into the energy of Libra as well. Now, Mercury has been, for first of all, a long time in the energy of Virgo because it needed to do its retrograde. Okay. And it's very comfortable in Virgo. It's in domicile. But I don't know about you, but for me, the Mercury retrograde through Virgo was intense. It was very intense. It was very discerning. It really made me look at what am I doing? How am I doing that? So it was for many, many people a much more intense retrograde than some of the other Mercury retrogrades that we've had and that we've experienced. But I tell you, We're all walking out of it together. Okay. And we've probably got some new ideas about how to be organized and what is valuable to us so that we can discern, make a priority what needs to happen. So Mercury is going to be getting into the energy of Libra. Now, first of all, just getting into a new sign is going to be a little bit of a breath of fresh air because it releases some of that energy from the chart and from the cosmos where we go, woof, okay, no retrograde happening right now. We can move forward. So Mercury in Libra, Mercury in air is phenomenal because it's a communication energy. So in air, we're seeing, we're talking, we're seeing all the perspectives, we're gathering all of the information. There's very much so this busyness, but the busyness is also very fair-minded, right? I want there to be justice. I want to have conversations that all sides are acknowledged. I want there to be a win-win in the decisions I'm making, in the conversations that I'm happening. Before I'm making decisions, I'm going to do a little bit more research so that I can make sure that I am taking responsibility for creating circumstances and making decisions that are as favorable and balanced as is possible while also being just. Okay. So, and I just want to share this. This idea of justice, this Libra justice, right? I have had some ideas about what constitutes justice. We're in the Libra space. This is thinking that has been here for a very long time. But as Mercury comes into Libra, it's bringing new information on old thinking, on old patterns of how we've made decisions, right? And so I'm thinking about a couple years ago when I was sitting with my spiritual teacher and we're talking specifically about the principle of justice. And I was like, yeah, listen, I know, I understand justice because it's this for this, right? And she was like, oh, is it? And we went down this road of justice. Is that just? Or is it Stormy's version of justice? Is that universal, spiritual, favorable for all involved justice? Or is it Stormy's justice? And let me tell you what, having that conversation and being able to and willing to Mercury new information, consider a different perspective. I have a very different view of what is actually justice today. So that's something I just want to offer out to you because remember, we are in the space of our old thinking. Our old thinking patterns are absolutely being presented to us. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're trolleying this week. Where have you discerned some things are a priority, but now you're also a little bit open to seeing different ways of interacting with things, okay? Now, here's the other thing to know about this Mercury Libra dynamic that we've got going on, is that Mercury in Libra is not going to be here. It's not a super long transit because Mercury is not in retrograde. So it's moving forward again, right? We're not in a hold up space. So we're only going to have Mercury dancing here just until the 22nd, and then it's going to move on. So the fair-mindedness is going to go down until the 22nd. Okay. So really kind of enjoy that if you can, and really practice this if you can with your partners or other people who are just trying to offer you a different perspective on what you've already been thinking. Okay. All right, let's move on. We've beat it to death. Let's get to Thursday. Okay. So Thursday, we've got the moon a little bit traveling through Gemini, but then early AM, it's going to move here into the energy of Cancer. And now we're going to start to create some different shapes and different conversations in the sky. First of all, the moon moving into the energy of Cancer, it's in domicile. We're a bit more sensitive. You're like, I just want to be at the house. What's going on with my family? Things like that. So as this Cancerian energy is happening, if you feel like you need to be more of a homebody to be comfortable, that's fine. But really the questions that are happening right now is, what do I need to do to nurture the Cancerian areas of my chart? What do I need to do to nurture myself in this area or my family for us to feel like we have domestic bliss, so that we feel like we have support, so that we feel like we are secure, are the questions. Now, something else to consider here is whichever place, whichever sign that the moon is happening in, every month you are having a lunar return. Okay, so we'll just stay on the Cancer energy for now. So if you have got a moon that is in the energy of Cancer, you're going to be having your monthly check-in and lunar return, and you really want to understand your lunar return, which is why I made a video about it, because the lunar return that you could be having can bring absolutely different shapes and clarity to some themes that you're really being asked to look at for the next month. So if you don't know your lunar return, you haven't heard about it, you got no idea, I would highly suggest you check out that video, and I'll make sure it's available at the end of this live and at the end of this video. But I just created that one for you so that you can understand it, okay? For the rest of us, go to the Cancerian area of your chart, because we're also going to end up having the last quarter moon this week. So you want to see what it's genuinely time to bring your attention to, bring culmination to, okay? But I want to just point out that the moon moving into Cancer it's bringing up domestic things. It's bringing up things from the past. It's about nurturing. It's about security. It's a lot more emotionally sensitive. Now, we're going to see that the moon is going to be coming into this stressful conversation with Mercury, okay? So as this is happening, we're in a cardinal square is what's happening here, okay? So this is like, we've had the head and the heart, and they've been a little bit more in flow, and that's been kind of okay. It's been going. Now the head and the heart, like, kind of don't understand each other. They're missing each other. So we're being challenged here with them being at odds we need to take an action to get out of the square, but the action is around, where do I start? Is kind of the question, right? Where do I start? Where do I begin? Where do I even begin? Okay, this is Mercury, so you could literally be having a conversation with somebody and you're trying to figure something out and you're like, where do I even begin? That is an honest, that's a beautiful representation of that particular square as you're trying to get things figured out. Now, the other portion of this is that the moon is very much so like I feel, and it's not the most rational, right? That's not the energy of the moon, but the Mercury wants the facts, wants the details, wants to be rational in what they're doing, and these two are colliding to each other, against each other. So one of the things to remember is that the moon here can also be governing the people. In mundane astrology, it's the people. So on Thursday, it's not a stretch to say that in the news, in terms of politics, things happening in your community, that you get some information and it's not rational. It's not rational. It's irrational, where you're like, how does that make sense? You start to hear things like, well, I mean, it's kind of complicated, or it's a little bit more complicated than that. Now, yes, this can be in your personal life and relationships, but we will likely hear things like that coming up, bigger stories that have been presented by the media in some way, right? It's like, oh yeah, this is a good emotional piece, but then you move by the emotion and it's like, that's not actually rational. So Thursday is a day where I would be questioning a little bit of the information that you are receiving and that you're taking in, to make sure that you can kind of have a place to bridge the gap. Now, I do think that there's a nice conversation here that I was seeing. I'm just double checking this aspect, but there is a nice conversation happening here with Saturn. The moon is in a trine to Saturn, so there's a little bit of help there. You might be a little bit more stable in being able to hold your own, or you're like, yeah, okay, thank you for the information. I'm not prepared to make a decision on that just yet. Or what happens is you're like, it's a day to remember that common sense is not always common, right? And we've had some ideas this week about what is right, what is fair, what is justice. And you're like, okay, that's not actually justice. So something to consider in that particular aspect, okay? Now, as we're going to move into the vibration of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we start to get a very different feel to what's going on. So Friday, the moon is still traveling through the energy of Cancer, but again, these different conversations that were created start to come up. So in this beautiful conversation, this sextile with Jupiter, who's in Taurus. It's lovely. It's wonderful. It's a flow. It's a vibe. You know, Jupiter is all things expansion, expansive. So you might even, this is Cancer and Taurus. You might be having a snack. I would say, please make sure that you try to do some kind of moderation, try to do some kind of moderation, you know, but also Jupiter having done some nice retrograding, this could be a time where, you know, you're realizing, oh, I've been on the snacks and I've really got to get this together. But, you know, good food is bland and it's gross. You know what I mean? I don't really want to do that. But the moon conversation with Jupiter here is like, oh, no, look, I can show you how to make Brussels sprouts spectacular. Okay, so you're looking for the recipes, the healthy living recipes, or you're going back over something in order to bring it down to size. But it is a whole flow, it is a whole vibe, and it is still looking for your expansion, but it's likely expansion of some resource that you already have and you've been working with, and now it's time to push it out. So I would say that when we're here on Friday, publishing, marketing, broadcasting, studying a language, booking those plane tickets for some, you know, faraway place. If you needed to have a conversation with the lawyer or the immigration attorney, you finally got the interview for school, or you're going to take that training. Good day to let the flow happen, because it's very much so going to be, I think, in your favor. Not only that, Jupiter is really got a good grasp on being wise and generous. So it can be a day where I'm telling you, if you've been feeling stuck, or you've been feeling like, I'm just not really sure how to move something forward, I'm not sure how to expand my horizon, stand in your living room and ask for guidance, ask for direction, because in that generosity, someone could also be the lifeboat that you've been looking for, right? So it's a great day to let that flow in, especially at the beginning portion of the day. Okay. Now, as we go on, and this is a good vibe, it's a whole vibe for most of the day, but then we're going to see that the moon in Cancer gets into tension with Mars and with Pluto. So what we've got dancing here is we've got a square with Mars. Okay, we've got that cardinal square happening out. And we've got this opposition to Pluto. And I will tell you, this is where I think your astrological forecast this week can help you trim the fat of the struggle, because this is struggle energy. It is tense. It is hard. There is a power dynamic. And typically what's happening under this energy is very Plutonian, a structure, an idea, a belief, a something even subconscious from the past is being threatened, is being changed, is not working. It is digging into me emotionally, right? I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure. I don't feel supported. And the action that I'm trying to take is being fueled by all of that. So instead of being assertive, I'm into aggressive. And we don't get a whole ton of these that I'm coming on here and telling you guys about, but this is one that, powered by emotions, this can be a mess. So first of all, you want to know that as we're stepping into this terrain of Friday afternoon, moving through the weekend, that this is energy that we will be dealing with. Okay, things like manipulation. And yes, it can be you. It's not just, look out and make sure that you're not being manipulated, but in your relationships, we are on the Aries Libra axes in how you are relating to people. Where are your own even unconscious manipulation tactics rising to the surface? And they've got to be addressed. And you'll know, because under this aspect, what it is, and this is on Friday, what it is that I'm afraid I'm going to lose something, I'm not going to get what I want, or I'm not going to be okay. It's a fear, and it's the driving energy behind what is going on. Okay, so first and foremost, let's know that it's there and that it is very real, and we're all under that energy. Okay, so if you can reduce the power struggle to the best of your ability, that's going to be really useful. And we use astrology to know that it's coming. So one of the first things that I can tell you is that, yes, this energy is blowing in on Friday. It's going to, I think, you start to fall off when we get to Sunday. So that's the timing that we're working with. Now, really productive ways that you can use this is, first of all, let's get actions under control, right? Because I cannot, and hear me this, I cannot think my way into new action. I cannot think my way like I cannot think my way into better, clearer thinking either, especially when I'm dealing with the dynamic of feeling like I'm losing something. I feel like I'm losing a structure. I feel like I'm losing a belief, something in me that is my security feels threatened. I'm not going to just think my way into a better version of myself. Okay. For me, I need to act my way into a new belief system. I need to act my way into new thinking. And that, I think, is an excellent set of suggestions as we're dealing here. Let's get the action under control first. So Mars, move. What can you do that is productive, that allows you to, instead of staying under the tension of that Mars and Pluto, you're getting it out of your pores, you're getting it out of your body in some way that helps to drop the energy down, or it channels the action into something that is actually productive and useful. That's a great way to watch this happen and to work out, right? And the other thing is, if you're like, Mars is still in Libra down there, if it is like, listen, I have always done it this way, or I have always thought of it this way, this is another great place to let action be your guide. If you have always told your partner what it is, maybe today is the day that you take a different action of be quiet and go do something to be helpful and let the energy dissipate. And it's also a response to I'm trying something different. Aries, North Node, right? If it's, I've never spoken up for myself, right? Whichever side that your typical thinking and behavior has lended to, it's a great time to try an action that is maybe in reverse of that to see what can come of it. The other thing is, like, if you've got a household project that needs to be done, I would say that you can productively channel this energy into it. Finally paint the bathroom, fix the toilet, rebuild the closet, get the little things off the floor, scrape the things off the floor, whatever it is. But I would also suggest, to the best of your ability, if you can, try to maybe do them a bit more independently, or go have a walk, or go have a workout, or leave space for breaks if you are working with another person so that you can breathe a minute, because this energy is the perfect combination for an emotional explosion. Okay. Last thing I do want to say about it in terms of how to work with it Friday, Sunday kind of vibe is please be mindful with tools. Please be mindful with tools and things like that, because there's just so much emotion and intensity put in here. And it can bring a sense of, what's the word? Anxiety, right? That you're working with tools, you're driving that car, doing whatever, and we can be a bit more accident prone. Now, we're humans, okay, and we're not in charge of the timing of things. So the best that we can do is know that this energy is coming and how to best work with it. There's no way whatever's supposed to come to you Friday through Sunday is going to be what comes to you, and it is perfect and it is right on time. Okay, now let's get over. You're like, that is a lot, Stormy. Okay, so on Saturday, we're still going to be under the vibration of that particular energy. So just keep it in mind. Okay, now the moon is going to go void, of course, on Saturday before we're going to switch into the vibration of Libra. So give yourself a break, have a rest, have a sandwich, have a back off from things that have been going on. Let some of the anxiety or irritability, if that's what has crept up, settle just a little bit. And I would highly encourage, again, when the moon is void, of course, on Saturday, you don't need to bring a lot of new things to the table. Just let be what is. Now, when we get to Sunday, we're going to see the moon move into Leo energy. And this is much more fun. It's much more playful. It's a little bit more light. It's a bit more extroverted kind of energy. It's a bit more romantic even. So, maybe, I don't know your life. I don't know your situation. Maybe this is a dynamic where you're like, our intimate life has been a bit rocky. And this has created a perfect little storm where you're actually playfully bringing your bodies together. This can be quite healing in long-term relationships, right? Or maybe it's that you just need to get out and you need to go play and you need to have some fun together. That's a wonderful dynamic to look at as we're traveling on Sunday. But here's the other side to be thinking about, I think, on Sunday, is that there is still this tense dynamic that is happening there. So you do want to be fun and playful and easy. And one of the things I think on Sunday is don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take someone else too seriously, right? Like, does it matter? Is it really important? In 5 days, if you didn't say the thing, in 5 days, if you didn't take personally what was said to you, will it matter? That is a great place to work for because the tension is still there. So, here you are and you think, oh, I'll just say this sarcastic little comeback to something that was said to me. And that tension is still in the air. And before you know it, the beautiful day as a couple, you're in an argument, right? The beautiful day as business partners, and then what comes up is you always, you never. This is where these phrases start to present themselves, so mindfulness on this day. Play, be easy, try not to take yourself and others too damn seriously, okay? Now, to help you with some of this, not take it too damn seriously, I've got great news. First of all, on the 7th, so over here on Saturday, we had some big news. Venus fully left the post-retrograde shadow time. You guys, we are absolutely done with the Venus retrograde. We made it. Okay. So hopefully the Venus retrograde was impactful for you. And now we're done with it. The things that we saw during the Venus retrograde about what I really value, what I really, truly value about myself, my own expression, my joy, my pleasure, my play, where I want to have fire and take leadership was hopefully revealed to us in a very serious way. Now, also other things that came up in a really pronounced way during the Venus retrograde in Leo is what is going on in this sacred bowl area. We have needed to acknowledge where there has been pain, there has been trauma, there needs to be healing so that that fire of leadership that has been called up and we now value can be healed, be cleared, and be stoked, right? Venus is an attracting energy. So it would have also shown you that if you're saying this is what I want and this is what I value, but you've got the story of past lovers, past beliefs, and your attraction energy from that portal of the sacred bowl is clogged, it's going to show you that Venus can't effectively attract into you what you want. And instead, what can be done is we use Venus as the go get it Mars energy, and we feel like caca. In the end, right? Venus is calling in after this retrograde to practice the receptive qualities. I call it in, I call it in, I call it in. This is my favorite. This is my Venus pose. I just want to share it with you guys. That's my Venus pose, okay? Because Venus is the flower. The flowers don't chase the bees. So in what you saw in this Venus retrograde, where did you learn that there's an old story? Maybe it's the old story of the world. The world said that if I did this, that I would have this, I would be safe, I would be secure. And you have found out that that story is a sham. That story is sitting right down here. It is sitting in that pelvic bowl. It is sitting, waiting to be healed and to be released and to be acknowledged. Where have you not felt felt like you were even allowed to have vanity in your life and have a daily beauty routine to just be beautiful, right? Like, where did this retrograde reveal that to you? And as you're making your way through that, that Venus energy is being cleared out, the clog is being released, and you're attracting in, and it is done with so much more ease. Now, I would love to hear from you, whether it's in the chat or in the comment section down below. What did the Venus retrograde reveal for you? Because for me, one of the things that happened is obviously I came to Spain, but the biggest thing that happened is when I came to Spain, I got invited to the house of Venus, and I have been able to let Venus work through me and create this course about that pelvic healing. And I'm telling you, when I was creating it, I was like, Venus, what are you saying? Why am I creating this class? And today I understand, because we're going to sit together, we're going to heal, we're going to get into this, we're going to call femininity, we're going to call receptive qualities, ease, beauty, and softness back into our own healing journey so that you can just be the flower, don't chase the bees, and let what you really value in. And I cannot wait. So as we get to October 7th this week, you will see on this channel and on my website that new course and the registration to come and join me will open up. It's really exciting, and I cannot wait to share it with you. Now, the other thing that we really want to celebrate, all of us, is that between the 7th of October and the 25th of November, this is a handful of weeks that we haven't seen in months, where we are not in personal retrograde, shadow time, retrograde, thinking about a retrograde, nothing. We are libre. We are free. So we've got some free moving kind of energy to get things going, moving forward. And I would highly encourage you to take action and to take note of that, because when we get to November 25th, Mercury is going to move back into its pre-retrograde shadow time. So we're again going to come to a different slowdown. We haven't had this set of weeks in a lot of months, you guys. So take advantage cosmically of using the energy to move and to propel some things personally forward, okay? Ooh, this is a lot, and I am so glad I got to come live with you this week. The energy of Spain, and the children are playing behind me. The families are vibrant. The sun is out, and I could not miss coming live with you to bring some of that in and through to share it with you. So I hope that this forecast has helped you. Again, check the videos at the end of this video to learn about that lunar return so you can see what's going on. Make sure you have checked out your monthly horoscopes for October. The sales are down there, the digital calendar. There is a lot going on in the description box of this video to help you do astrology more efficiently, effectively, so that you can kind of know what's going on. So check it out, beautiful friends. I love you a ton. Thank you for joining me live, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week, and probably before next week too, where the new course will launch out, and I can't wait. All right, you guys, I love you.